So hey guys, this is actually going to be the first tier list that's recorded on Streamlabs for desktop, as I was having some problems with my Wondershare Filmora this week, which is why or it was the day before I posted a Stranger Things video because Wondershare was having some trouble updating and it wouldn't actually go up to date until I reinstalled it. So I had to reinstall Wondershare, but I'm back. So I'm just recording it on Streamlabs instead with a display capture open. You can see Wondershare is in the corner. And here we are with the Benby-chan gaming account. As you can see, that's the old logo of the channel. Yeah, either way. Here we are, ranking the killers between of how strong they are. In my opinion, biased opinion here, guys, are they broken or are they not? Will you win a lot with them or will you lose a lot with them? It really depends. It's really a thing of play style. I have, for the most part, have won with literally every single one of these killers except for one. Or two. Yeah, I haven't won two killers here are going to be relatively low. But again, I'm putting this in my opinion where I think they would be how strong they are in the game, how I feel if they're worth it or not for the buy, or since we have the default killers here, are they worth playing? Okay, first up, we're ranking Trapper. And after a look at my old tier list, I feel bad for him. He's B tier. The thing with Trapper is, if you play super mean as him and just camp basement the entire time, you will guarantee lose. I would know this. I mean, you would guarantee a win as Trapper. I would know this. Rowan did this to us multiple times. Or just once, for the most part. But either way, we really had some trouble facing Rowan's Trapper on certain maps. RPD is a great map for him. You can't see the traps. And maps with lots of grass can't see the traps. Trapper can be really good. But again, I think that's only if you're trying to win as hard as possible. Trapper normally just feels, average. He can place traps down. You can get some cool things with the traps, but again, it really depends on how you're playing him. If you're playing him like any other killer, you're probably gonna have the same time you will with an M1 killer, a normal attacking killer. But if you play super trap heavy and camp heavy, you're gonna win by a lot and it's gonna be super boring. I don't suggest you play him first if you're trying to have a fun game, He promotes camping, and I'm going to say that for a couple of the killers, but he promotes camping just in the basement areas to win guaranteed, because people are too nice to let a survivor die. But some people aren't, so, Hillbilly. Hillbilly is also going... No, just kidding. He's going C. Billy is irritating to me. For one, his ability is kind of garbage. He dashes, and you can barely turn, and if he hits someone with that dash, they're knocked. They're down. They're on the ground. They've been knocked one hit, but the fact that you have barely any control with the ability, and you hit literally anything, boom, you just wasted a dash, and now you have to watch as Billy throws a tantrum. So yeah, really, there is, quite a, there's some things here that Billy is good at. I think a good Billy player could be good. I just think base Billy, and I'm referencing these off of zero perks, and they're probably, for some of them, I'm going to use add-ons just because add-ons definitely brighten up the tier list. Trapper is broken with his add-ons. I don't really know Billy's here as an add-ons. But I'm pretty sure one of them was just people can't hear you hear the chainsaw if they're in your terror radius. Which, why? How does that help? Either way, yeah. I'm not going to always be looking at add-ons though, guys. I'm going to say that here. Add-ons aren't the biggest importance for some characters, as some characters have garbage add-ons, but are still really good. But some characters are garbage, but have really good add-ons. which is going to move us into our next character. Wraith, easy S tier, honestly. This guy is fun to play as. He's so fun to play as. Just spooking up on people. And again, like I said, his add-ons definitely make his gameplay a lot easier, which makes him stronger. I'm going to be talking for the most part about Iridescence because I didn't have time to go through every single add-on in the game. But his Iridescent add-ons, 1, make it so his bell is silent, and 2, makes it so he can see gen progress when he's invisible. Those are 2 broken, and I do mean broken, add-ons right there. And, you know, it's really good. He's really good, and I say he's probably the best, in my opinion, of the 3 default original killers. Moving on to the Nurse, I think Nurse is way too overrated, but I still don't think she's bad. I'll probably put her below Hillbilly. The fact that she can teleport is really good. But again, people are expecting you to teleport now. And I feel like in my playthroughs of Nurse, yes, I've won every match. I've played as Nurse, but also at the same time, other than, of course, when I was new to the game. But other than that, Nurse has been relatively, annoying. I don't actually use her. I find that I don't actually use her teleport because I know people are going to be expecting it. I quite enjoy Nurse, though, just like I do for Hillbilly. Great, and she's very hard to learn, unlike the first 3, which are quite easy to learn, other than Billy, how to turn. I still think, though, she is really strong, and is, it's still pretty easy to win as her, while also having fun. I'm gonna say the same thing with Hillbilly as well. Not Hillbilly, Wraith. Sorry. Which is kind of the opposite. This tier list is kind of all over the place. It's also, so for one, it's definitely how, good they are in the game. Like, you should use these guys for sure. But it's also, at the same time, how fun they are to play at the same time, which is why it's going to be kind of all over the place, guys. Either way, Huntress is our next one, and I have gotten only a couple matches on Huntress, and I've had a blast playing as her. And she is really good, which is what I think for most projectile killers. Her projectile could be really good. Her iridescent makes it so she only has 1, but, it insta-downs, which is great. But, it's also so fun to just chuck hatchets at people and get some really good hatchet shots. And she is really good. And, I quite enjoy playing as her. And she's powerful, She's more powerful than Trapper and Nurse. I think Nurse can be powerful if, it's a good player. I think all killers can be powerful if it's a good player, though. And, Nurse really requires the more skill, especially if you're not using the add-on that makes it so you can see the blink. So, yeah. Next, we have Michael Myers. I'm putting him below Billy in C tier. You might be wondering, why is he higher than D? A lot of the good players in the game say that Michael Myers is the worst. I think he gets a bad rep. I still think there's worse killers in the game than him for fun and gameplay and how strong they are. I have won every single match but 1 of Michael Myers because his iridescent add-ons are cracked. And I do mean cracked. That's the only way that you should ever play Michael Myers. Michael Myers is not fun any other way. Or, he's not as fun. The fact that you stock, and it takes a while to stock, but you get infinite tier 3 is great. And at tier 3, as well, for the other iridescent, you can instantly mori anyone you're close enough to. This ability makes him so good. But the reason he's far down is because he's farther than B, is because those iridescents really make or break it for me. If he doesn't have the iridescents, you can escape him pretty easily. If he has the iridescents, you better hope you have Dead Hard. Either way, yeah. There is some really, really great things about, of course, Myers. I love the feel he gives. But again, he's not strong without the iridescence, and if we were doing it based off of iridescence, which, again, I don't know every character's iridescence, he would be up here, because he can literally instant mori anybody. But the fact is, he's not necessarily the most fun to play as, nor is it reliable to, on online gameplay, to always be getting the iridescent add-ons. So, I think he deserves C, but he doesn't deserve D. Come on, guys. His iridescence definitely make or break him, but that doesn't mean he's not necessarily... That doesn't mean he's bad, but it also doesn't mean he's fun. Either way, moving on, Hag. Okay, Hag, strength-wise, I would put here, around the A tier. Hag is so irritating to face, but the fact if you bring a flashlight, you're gonna be doing pretty fine. But the problem is, you're gonna have to know that Hag is there. Hag is so boring to face, because again, like Trapper, she promotes camping. She essentially promotes camping even worse ways, though. She essentially can walk away from a hook after placing 3 traps there, and then walk it like 24 meters away. Just stand there. Let someone unhook, and then immediately pop back out, tunnel that person, and then chase the other person down. Yeah, it's not very fun. And it's extremely boring. That's why I despise Hag players. I have no respect for Hag players. But that's not saying she isn't strong. She's a lot stronger in Trapper in the sense of, well, Trapper can't instantly teleport back to his traps whenever he wants. And he can't, he isn't the trap itself, It's not a missed opportunity. Trapper is very well designed. Hag is not. She specifically, asks for you to camp. And I don't really like her gameplay. But then again, she's quite strong. But I don't think she's as strong as the top 3. Again, I'm pretty sure I could win Hag matches. More than I could win a Huntress, Nurse, or Wraith match. Either way, here we are with Doctor. Honestly, again, I despise Doctor players. But that's not saying that his power is not good. His power essentially is, yeah, I shock you, and then you lose the only thing that you can do. You can't do skill checks. You can't vault. You can't do literally anything but run when I shock you. And my problem with it is Doctor players just seem to spam it so they will get that. And then you essentially just have to hope that someone else tries to save you. Because you can't do anything else. So yeah, I think he is, again, extremely boring, but his power makes it so he's strong. Do I think he's fun? No. Since you console players get Hag and Doctor for free, I still don't think you should play Hag or Doctor. Hag and Doctor are extremely boring, lame, and I despise you if you main them. Yeah. But again, like I said, this is also based off of how strong they are, and they just so happen to be quite strong. I think Bubba gets a bad rep. Again, he's still not the greatest. B tier above Trapper. Bubba is essentially just Billy, but without the uncontrollable speed. He can break pallets like Billy, he has a chainsaw that downs in one shot like Billy, except his doesn't launch him forward in an uncontrollable speed where you physically can't turn. Again, you still might bump into things and he will throw a tantrum. But Bubba's tantrum will actually do an attack during it that has a hitbox. So, no. Bubba is a lot stronger than Billy. Though, again, he's not necessarily the strongest because he's quite slow. I do love his pitter-patter, though. And I do love the fact that he definitely feels a lot better than Hillbilly. Of course, that's not saying he's great, though. He's still just average, and I still don't think he really deserves above B. Next up, we have, of course, Freddy Krueger, who I am again putting in D tier. I think I put him there last time. Dream palettes are the most fun part of his kit. The problem I have with Freddy Krueger is I've won a lot of matches with him, but it takes a lot to win said matches. His power is essentially useless because these snares, they give the player who steps in it a speed decrease, but it's visible to them when it is allowed to affect them. And it's a big glowing red puddle on the ground. So no, it's not really going to help you. Maybe you can get some baits out with it, but again, I still don't think that it's useful enough to make him move on up to C. And the fact is, I prefer Dream palettes, which is even more useless, because it just replaces palette with a fake palette. Okay, maybe it's not more useless, because, per se, this palette, do you know what it will do? It will do nothing to you. So essentially, you can hit them for free, because they're morons. Okay. And then his gameplay is kind of boring. The fact that he can teleport is cool. But again, the teleport takes so long to charge up, it's not even that strong. I'm sorry, Freddy Krueger. I like playing as you sometimes, but I can't put you above D. You are definitely the worst killer. One of the worst killers in the game. Next, we're moving on to Pig. And if you didn't realize, yes, I did sort this by order it comes out. The tier list didn't itself, which I'm fine with. It doesn't matter to me. I'll sort it out myself, Okay. Pig is below Trapper. The reason is, I think her default power is kind of garbage. Her default power is that she can put reverse bear traps, on the survivor's head after she knocks them down, and they will have to go around and try to find one of 6 jigsaw boxes that will actually work. It will make a noise notification if it has been sounded off. But the problem with this is it's RNG. Sometimes her power will be cracked because sometimes there is a 1 in 6 chance that the survivors actually don't get it off until their 6th box or their 5th box, which in that case her power is really useful. But sometimes, like I've seen with Aiden on that one time where Pio died to a friendly pig because he had a trap on his head, and Aiden also did. Aiden got it off on his first try. Pio didn't even get it off on his 5th try, meaning he had the 1 in 6 chance. Meaning Aiden also got the 1 in 6 chance to get it off first try. Which would then mean you just lost a trap for someone who got it off on their first try. It's essentially just RNG, which isn't really the best power, I'm gonna say. I love her ambush, though. It is really nice. The ambush is great. But then again, base power makes it so... It makes it RNG, which is why I put her below Trapper. Trapper, yeah, you get to place your own traps. They will walk on it on their own. The difference is, when you're playing as, per se, Pig, if they get their trap off immediately, you lose a trap. You only have a couple left. It's not useful. Moving on. I gave this guy a bad rep for being very slow. This guy, I put below these guys. Again, he's a projectile killer. And like I said, I actually quite enjoy projectile killers. My favorite killer is a projectile killer. Clown, after I got some gameplay as him, because I have all killers now, I actually found him quite fun, especially with the add-on that changes the color of the bottle's effects. So essentially, the pink bottle is now swapped with the yellow bottle. The pink smoke will do the yellow bottle effect. The yellow smoke will now do the pink bottle effect. And it's quite cool. and it could lead to some brain screwing over abilities. And yes, I'm pretty sure you did just see that Rowan is playing Dead by Daylight, so pretty cool. Okay. Clown is slow, but then again, the fact that he can just stop, the fact that his thing makes it go slower, it's essentially a better version of Freddy Krueger's ability. Freddy Krueger makes people go slow when they step in his dream snare. But Clown essentially has a more portable version of this. You don't set the trap up. Clown throws it at them. He can throw it at them, throw it at him. And again, his baits are better because he can throw it at a loop and stop them from looping because they will become slow from it. Yes, this is actually decent. I used to think it was pretty bad, but after I've got some gameplay as him, he's actually not that bad. Moving on, back up to Spirit. Spirit, as usual, will be pretty high up. Again, I think I'm going to put her on A. Definitely above Nurse. The fact is, Spirit essentially can turn invisible and then reappear wherever she wants. She can't see the players, but she can see scratch marks and hear noises. Of course, survivors can also hear that, but again, it's still quite hard to guess where Spirit is coming from, especially with some of her add-ons on. Spirit is really a hit or miss. You could be a really good Spirit, or you can be a really bad Spirit. But the fact is, a lot of players are good Spirits, because Spirit is so easy to play as. Sorry. Okay. Moving on. Legion. Legion is not that great. He's essentially just a speedy boy who can stab, giving people the mending effect. He's essentially just a close-range Deathslinger. But the difference is, Deathslinger's ability, after reeling you in from a certain distance, can actually knock people down. Legion, stabbing, you will have to stab 4 people in a row before you can knock someone down with your frenzy ability. Legion is actually not that great, which is why I find it funny that I got him for free. He wasn't even that good. But who cares, you know? I got Legion for free. Why not? Okay. Time to say hello to my worst killer ever. So I've played 2 matches as Plague and lost both of them. I suck as Plague, apparently. Not to say that she's necessarily awful, I'm gonna move her up. But she's still below Myers. The fact is, her ability is only useful when people cleanse a ton. And that's the thing. People don't necessarily have to cleanse. Yes, their throwing up sickness is quite irritating, and can eventually lead them to get instant downed. But if they cleanse, they can also get instant downed. If survivors just don't see the killer that often as well, nobody's gonna cleanse. So essentially her power is like the pig's. It really depends on if the survivors are going to actually get hit by your vomit because they're bad, or if they're gonna cleanse afterwards, because they don't have to. The cleansing actually benefits you. So, you know, it's not actually that good. It's not good at all. Really, that's all I can say about her. It's actually not that great. Her power. Either way, moving on, we have the Ghostface. The Ghostface, I would say, is quite equal to Myers. Myers is quite slow. But still, Myers at tier 1 could be incredibly annoying, because he has no terror radius. Ghostface has essentially the same ability, except it's manual. He can do it whenever he wants. But I think the difference is, when Myers stalks someone, when he stalks someone to tier 3, not only that person is exposed, everyone is. Of course, Ghostface is faster, but he can get revealed, which will completely, instantly vanish his bar, but it will reveal your location. So, is Ghostface ability better? No. It's essentially the same thing, though, except with less people, and they can reveal you. It's not as good. Now here I'm gonna have to have a hard ranking. I'm gonna put you straight in the middle, Demogorgon. I haven't played as you because I don't have you. You're the one killer on this entire list that I will never have until they re-release the Stranger Things packs. Does that mean that I really want you? Yes. Does that mean that this is a fair ranking for you? Not exactly. I don't have you, so I can't rank you properly. And the fact is, I'm probably not going to get it to rank him properly, ever. He's going to be staying in the center out of tribute to my boy Demogorgon being, according to other players, the most average killer in the game. Now, I'm going to put a relatively controversial thing here. Oni in B. People are saying, Oni's so good. His dash ability is better than Billy's. And yes, it is. It is very much better than Billy's. He can slide off walls. That makes him good. Which is why, he should be at the top of B. But he can also instant down. And he has essentially a tracking ability because of the blood orbs. But, guys, I still don't think he's that good. He has the ability to one-shot with his Demon Dash, but if you miss it, it takes forever to get up. His tracking is great. That's the best part about him. But I still find his dash kind of useless. It's still hard to turn with his dash, just like Hillbilly's. Though he can slide off walls, and he can bait people with his dash, he's still not the greatest. And I'm sorry to say this, but I don't think that he has that much potential. I still don't think he's the best killer. And of course, this is my biased opinion, because I have only won one match as Oni, and all the other 4 matches, I lost by a lot. This might just be my biased opinion, but I don't actually find him that fun. And again, I haven't really been talking about fun. Ghostface, fun. Plague, Clown, Pig, yeah, that's pretty fun. Legion, yeah, you're pretty fun too. Freddy is not that fun, Ghostface, pretty fun, Demogorgon, I will never get to play you, ever. Spirit, sometimes fun, Oni is never fun to me, and I don't even find him that strong. I've won a ton of matches against Oni, but I've only won one match as Oni, and I'm a relatively fine player, so I think, I could rank this right. I don't know. I just don't think that this is ranked well, guys, and I just don't think he's that good. Now, again, Deathslinger, I'm putting at the top of A. Again, I don't think he's broken. He definitely is really good. He is definitely my favorite of the projectile killers to play as. His projectiles are so fun, and the fact that he reels people in and then gives them makes them have to mend is pretty good. His speed, again, it's around the same as Huntress, but he's still pretty strong. His ability is great. He is, in my opinion, the most fun killer to play as, because it's really 50-50. You have to be good as Deathslinger to really play him, similar to Nurse. And I just like that type of gameplay for Deathslinger as a projectile killer. Again, he's also pretty strong. Pyramid Head, I'm going to put just below Doctor in the A tier. Pyramid Head is actually pretty good. His ability to chain people can really screw people over. The fact is, he essentially can hook somebody who's been chained once, and then wait for them to get unhooked. Then he can hook them again, and then wait for them to get unhooked. And then he can get the instant Mori. Yeah. He has really good and easy gameplay, and he's relatively fun to play as too. I had fun playing as him. And, he's, again, his power, though, is kind of weak in comparison to the S tiers. Moving on again to Blight. I put him at the top of S tier. He's easy to play. He's super fast-paced. He doesn't promote camping, unlike a lot of the killers here. Hag, Doctor, Pyramid Head, Trapper. All of them, from what I've seen online, really camp a lot. But also Doctor and Bubba's do, so, I can't really say that too much, but, Blight, you physically can, but it's not smart to camp as Blight. Blight is super fast-paced, and it really just approves of you going around hitting someone, then running away from that person, hitting someone else, then going back to hit that person that you hit before, and doing that a ton. His ability is really good, too. The fact that he's just super fast and can bounce off of walls, great. And there's not really much to explain. He's just really good and fun to play as. So, what other killer do I think is good? Well, Twins. A tier. Below Deathslinger. She definitely promotes camping. Way too much camping. I have essentially had to leave Charlotte just in front of a gen that I know everyone knows where it is. And just chase other people around so they can't do that gen. Yeah, essentially, I just camp a gen. Again, I don't feel respectable for doing this, and Twins, really the only way you can win as her is by doing that. Especially on a large map like RPD, which is where I did that. Again, though, her power is strong and really annoying to face, like Hag and Doctor. And she's barely ever fun to play as. The fun parts are when Victor is out. Yeah, I'm not gonna really put her much higher than that. Trickster is my second worst character. He's essentially just Huntress. He can throw daggers, but he has to hit 12 daggers to actually deal 1 damage. Huntress, you throw 1 hatchet, you hit it, boom. You have, as Trickster, you have to throw over half your daggers at someone to just get them downed. Huntress, you throw 2 hatchets, boom, they're down. Trickster, you constantly need to reload, and he's not even that cool. I play him sometimes, I don't really play him often, and he's quite irritating. Some of his add-ons make him more fun, just like a lot of the other killers make add-ons with add-ons are more fun. But then again, I still don't think he's that great. He's a lot better than Freddy, though. Okay, Nemesis. Easy, simple, B tier below the clown. Okay, this guy literally does, nothing. Zombies are the fun part of his ability. He's quite lame to play as, like a lot of the other killers. But he's not that bad for power-wise. Essentially, the Tentacle Whip will infect them, make them cough, and essentially all it does is allow him to easily use his tentacle again to actually deal damage. Like Trickster, though, it requires you to do it twice. You will require to Tentacle Whip them once to get them infected, and then Tentacle Whip them again to deal 1 damage. And I feel like it's just not that great. It's similar to the Plague. And I just don't exactly like it. I don't think it's the greatest ability. Okay, moving on to my D tier, we have Pinhead. You might be wondering, Pinhead? Pinhead ain't that bad. And that might be your opinion. I think Pinhead is kinda okay. The fact is, his power-up kinda sucks. And I'm saying the fact is a lot, and I'm getting self-conscious about it. Either way, though, his ability kinda sucks. He can chain someone, but it takes 2 seconds to break that chain off, so it takes... Oh no, you slowed me down by 2 seconds. You can get a free hit on me. Sometimes the chains can be useful, as sometimes with add-ons on, they will deal damage, but then again, they're still kinda useless. The chain frenzy from the Lament configuration is irritating, and the fact that he can teleport to it is good. That's the good part of his power. The Lament configuration. but if he teleports to it, the effects disappear. So you essentially never want to teleport to it. And yeah, it's irritating to solve it when you have the chain frenzy. So yeah. As well as that, we have the artist. Artist is an easy A tier. She's definitely below Pyramid Head though. Her ability is not that bad. It essentially reveals their location. It's essentially just a tracking perk. But if it's a direct head-on attack from the crow, without going through anything, it'll actually deal damage. And if the crows are already on them, again, it will deal damage. Essentially, it's like Nemesis, but if it's a direct head-on impact, it will deal damage. So it's essentially just Nemesis, but 10 times better. Which is what I can respect her for. Moving on, we have the Onryo. She's definitely B tier, below Trapper too. I think, she's relatively average. She can teleport, and her Mori ability is good, but it can instantly be negated by her other ability of the tapes to teleport. So she's just average, and she's relatively fine to play as. Same thing with Artist. And yeah. And our final killer is our newest, and he definitely goes here, in S tier. He really deserves it. He's traveled a long way here, and he deserved it because he actually is relatively pretty strong. Especially against my friends head-on who use head-on. It's really irritating to them, and that's why the Dredge is good. And yes, I just realized S, A, and C are all have the same amount of characters in them, with B having the most, meaning Dead by Daylight has a ton of average killers, and barely any bad killers. That's actually quite sad. But yeah, that is essentially my tier list, guys. I would like to thank you guys for watching this video, and, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!